On June 23rd, Alison Chandra shared her son Ethan's story via social media. Her Twitter thread started off with a startling picture, a hospital bill for over $230,000. Her tweet has been across the country and back, moving hundreds more Americans to get involved and do something. And Ethan's story touched the heart of millions of people because we saw ourselves in him and his family. Throughout the roller coaster of the past few weeks, Alison has never once stopped fighting for Ethan and the thousands like him. Please welcome to the stage, Alison Chandra.
If you ask any mother of a medically fragile child, without hesitation, she will be able to point to the exact moment when she realized that tragedy does not discriminate. For me, it was March 19th, 2014, during a routine anatomy ultrasound, while I lay on a stretcher and watched shadowy pieces of the baby inside me slip in and out of view on the screen. Fingers, toes, 10 of each. Spine like a row of tiny stones. Heart. 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 Why are they still looking at his heart? I didn't start to panic until I saw the look on the doctor's face. It's a mask of practiced calm that I've perfected myself as a medical professional who knows that what she is about to say will divide her patient's life into two neat halves, before and after, you and other people. But not you, me. It was me she was talking about, my baby. Somehow this was my baby. I forced myself to listen as the diagnoses piled up: heterotaxy, polysplenia, left atrial isomerism, complex critical congenital heart defects. May not be compatible with life. And that's when I heard it for the first time. It's a sound that's haunted my own dreams since I started my career as a pediatric nurse. Since the first time I held a mother in my arms while her child slipped away from her. It's the wounded animal sound of a mother whose heart has just been shattered, and this time it was coming out of my own throat. And I couldn't figure out how to stop it. The next nights were the darkest of my life. I spent the days sitting across desks from doctors who, well-meaning, sympathetic, all asked me the exact same thing. Are you sure you want to go through with it? There's still time to terminate. I'd assure them that ending the pregnancy wasn't an option, and then I'd go home and I'd curl up in my bed and I'd sob until my throat was raw because, of course, I wasn't sure. How could I possibly be sure when every hope, every promise, every guarantee of a life with my son had just been torn away from me? There was nothing to hold on to, nothing I could have done differently. Before I even knew that he existed, his tiny heart had broken almost beyond repair, and now somehow I was supposed to be the one to fight for him? How? It was in the darkness of those nights that I realized what strength really is. It's that special steel that you can only find in waiting rooms and beside ICU beds and on the other side of endless worry-filled nights. It's the steel that can mend a broken heart. It's equal parts fear, desperation, and just enough courage to throw caution to the wind and fight. Because when all this is over, whenever that day comes, that is the only thing that will have mattered. As soon as my husband was able to start work, he brought home the insurance paperwork, that big packet that everyone fills out. We sat together, and I flipped back and forth through all the different forms, and I was so sure I was missing something until all of a sudden it dawned on me. And I just remember laughing. I'd been looking for the form that would ask me to list Ethan's pre-existing conditions, the one that they'd use to deny him care, the one that they'd cite as proof that he was too expensive, that it was time for them to stop paying out benefits, the one they'd use to deny him the future that we had already fought so hard for. But you know what? That form didn't exist. That's right. It didn't exist because the ACA had made it illegal. And realizing that moment, sitting at the kitchen table across from my husband, realizing that our baby was never going to be denied access to the care that would keep him with us, that would give our family a future together, I was like seeing the sun for the first time. In a life with heterotaxy, there are so few guarantees like this. We live on a razor's edge. The probability that I will outlive my son far outweighs the possibility that I will watch him grow old. I still can't bring myself to buy him pajamas in next year's size. But some days like today, when I look out and see all of you here, some days I'm a special kind of brave. On those days, I can imagine him growing up and going to kindergarten, graduating from college, or holding his hand out to me for a dance at his wedding. Without medications and surgeries and specialist bills and a lifetime of medical bills, none of these brave hopes will ever become reality. And so this is why we fight, to protect Ethan's access to care. Until now, we've been fighting to stop them from denying us access. We stood, all of us, shoulder to shoulder across this country, and we proved that our voices matter. And now, like Ben said, now we turn our eyes to the future. We're not playing defense anymore. This is offense. We need to fight to make that future as bright as possible for our children. You want to fight? Bring it on. I've been fighting for my kids since the day I found out, since the day I laid on that stretcher in that ultrasound, and I will fight for him with every single beat of my heart. Ethan's life, his future, is quite literally on the line, and I will not stop fighting until I get that dance.